get you set up, but it's you going home and being able to program and change your program, because we know things happen on the radio, and then if we set it up here, you go home and you put it in the box, it's going to be just, when you want to use it, it's not going to be ready. So our goal here is really spend the time with the H8s, understanding how to do it on the radio. And then what we want to do is start working on the program. There's programs out there depending on what radio you have, and setting it up so that you've got it on a like a spreadsheet, and you're able to change it up and down, upload, download, and stuff like that. Those of you that don't have a radio, we want to help you. We can give you a radio to play with or whatever, but the goal is that it's anybody that brought a radio, our goal is to really help you get that program, or at least learn how to program.
Yeah, does anybody, I brought 2 extra that they can use and try out. Anybody want to? And, there you go.
Okay.
You live steak best. This guy is. Oh. No, not that one. You can't have that. That's the. We can forward that. Somewhere.
We got a good showing. We're really excited about that. Welcome everybody. My name is Gerry Bauer. I'm also the PrepperNet comms leader for our area, and I go by Golf Bravo 13. If you're listening to shortwave on the weekly comms net, which I want to inspire everybody to play with, go get a $30 shortwave radio, and you can be participating, checking in with our weekly PrepperNet, which is HF. We do it through HF, but you can get it through your shortwave, and you can actually get the messages that we transmit through the net, and it's a pretty powerful thing. And if you want more information on that, if you go to the Mighty group, it's called Mighty Network app, and that's where our PrepperNet is held, and you'll see the details, and you'll get help through there, or of course ask us. We have the expert of PrepperNet right here. I want to introduce Jeffrey. Jeffrey is our brain, and Jeffrey is, if you have a problem, he's going to be able to solve it, because he's just, he's got that technology side. He's very good with that. So we're very blessed to have him in our San Antonio, and a lot of the HF, a lot of the PrepperNet comms group reaches out to him. So he's in our backyard. So we're pretty excited about that. The board will introduce John. Those of you who don't know John, stand up. Jade, Charlotte. So we started this a couple of years ago. The PrepperNet's been around for a long time, but we really started to get together. Nothing was in San Antonio. We wanted something where we could have localized social events, free, not impacting anybody, but get together. We get to know each other. We can learn from each other. Everybody's got different skill levels, whether it's food, whether it's medical, but it's prepping, right? It's preparing. What we call is living, real living, right? Being prepared. It's the world has called it prepper, and that's where PrepperNet came from. Well, we have now San Antonio, and it's really doing well. We're very blessed. with it, and we try and do everything for free. When we're getting in some special guest, we may have to have a fee or something just to help, because we don't want to put it out of our pocket. We want to just make sure we get the messages. So we do campouts, right? We do where we can play with the food or whatever that Charlotte put on. The last one, she made a meal out of, the MRPs, or what are they called?
MREs.
MREs, sorry. I'm not on the food side, I'm on the comm side, right? So that's PrepperNet. So new people that are new here that we haven't seen, or welcome, and you're always welcome. We do this on a monthly basis. This month we decided we would go with the HTs, and we have a lot of people that say, "Hey, I got this HT, but I've never pulled it out of the box, or I don't know how to program it." That's where we said it's going to be an interactive meeting this time versus a presentation on the board. We actually want to help each other. Those of you that know how to do it, help your neighbor. What we want to leave from this meeting is that you feel more comfortable with your HT, that if we gave you a frequency, you could actually program it. And you could get it on and you can hear it, right? That's our goal. It's not that you're going to become an expert in the programming and know everything about it. It's about you getting and to be able to listen. Comms is one of is an important thing, because knowledge is what we react on. If we don't have that knowledge that something's happening, we need a weather alert, whatever, and we don't have that comms, we're vulnerable. We want that information. Then we make a decision what we're going to do with our families, what we're going to do with that afterwards. But comms is very important to us because we're both comms guys, right? So Charlotte is a general. I'm a general, an extra.
No, I'm still general.
Oh, you're still general. Okay. So we have a lot of good comms. And who's a hammer operator? Anybody? Ham? Okay, so we play with the radio as much as we can, and I'm always getting criticized by the family. Is like, get out of that ham shack, right? Because I just enjoy it so much. But I do have some giveaways. These are PrepperNet comms patches. I don't have enough. I do have some PrepperNet hand files or nail files. So, and I've got some stickers. Okay. I want to pass them around. You guys take one. Know that there's not enough, so just take one of them or whatever, and just go with that. I'll put 50-50, and we'll go the other way around. You know what this means, right? Is that corner gets the last pick. So, all right, here we go. So let's just get this out. You can send those around that way.
I don't actually have one of those.
All right.
And also there on the table over there, there's this card that's a useful reference. If you don't already have one, I may not have brought enough for everyone, but it's just a reference of frequencies that you might need to know and kind of the different plans we have for radio nets, things like that. And it's meant for the San Antonio, Austin area. So it has the frequencies that we use here in this area.
And Jeffrey brings these every meeting. So if you're not going to get one, we'll get you one, okay?
And I can put the PDF on the website to download because it's a PDF.
He does all this, and it's like, I think his work pays for the...
No, I laminated.
Okay, all right.
They paid for the printing.
Okay. Before we get started, the board, do you have any announcements?
Yeah, so we're doing a little bit of a trading swap meet out in the parking lot after the meeting. If you have anything, or if you're just looking for things, so that's an option.
Are we going to do that every meeting?
I think if anybody wants to bring any extra items, that
guys,
that's an option. And Gerry, I know you mentioned that we're volunteer based. We are taking donations for some of the bigger meetings. So these meetings we get for free here. But when we run campouts, we kind of run out of pocket with those. And we want to bring in a lot of the more seasoned people in the preparedness community to come talk. And sometimes they live far away, so we want to pay for their gas at least. So Charlotte, she kind of handles all of our.
Yeah, she's our finance.
Yeah, she's our treasurer, so she handles all the money. So if
Any donations go to her. We track it. It doesn't. It goes to a cost that provides for the meeting for some reason. Good point there.
And then we do record the meetings. I've been really slack about putting them up on YouTube, but we do have a playlist of them. If you're looking to show somebody what the meetings are like, it's STX Preparedness is the YouTube channel. I think that's all I have.
What's this for? Pass out or what?
Oh yes, there's a banner in there and there's some cards for PrepperNet.net. So we try to get everybody to go and to register. You can get a free account and join the boards and communicate with people that way. I know there's like 18 different ways that people communicate on social media and everything. So I don't want to add another one to you, but
Yeah.
if you do want to, it's there.
Yeah. Charlotte, announcement.
Okay, there's a sign-in sheet, a couple of them have.
Sign in sheet right here.
Be sure to sign in, okay, just wherever they are, be sure
Right.
everybody gets signed in.
We already signed in, so.
Okay, is it four?
Oh, it's two.
That one, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like in the middle.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have a question. There's a San Antonio ham radio club, right?
There's several of them. Yep.
Okay, and the main one that I found when I was trying to look for classes, they're not offering any. So to get your license, the classes.
We
for
can
your
help you.
license-
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
if you're looking for a technician class, there is a Zoom class that's starting in September that will go through the entire the tech class, and it's free.
Participate.
I have I sent it via text to us, but
Yeah.
I'll find the link for it here in a
So
few
here's
minutes.
the answer: is there's different clubs have different training sessions, but in the ham community, there is a technician class happening right now. There's a general class. We can find it, and then a lot of it's gone online since the COVID and all that. So there is, if we can help you find it.
Perfect.
Right, it's and we recommend it, guys. I know, well, I don't want to be, caught. I want them to know I got my radio. We recommend GMRS is a must. It's like you have to practice your radio. You don't practice it, and you put it in the box. I got a radio. Check that box. You're shit out of luck. Okay, it's not going to work, and you're not going to be able to use it. So, by signing up and paying $30 for 10 years for a GMRS license, you are able to learn how to use that. And you turn it on. And we are ham radio. We turn it on. Today, I turn it on tomorrow, and it doesn't work, and I never touched it. Something changed. And that's the message that I learned a long time ago when I first became a ham is you have to expect the unexpected. It's going to happen. And how do you relate to that? How do you react to that? So please take it serious. If you want to know your comms and get your license, do that. Learn it. I really recommend it. Go ahead.
Okay, the calendar ready, September 14th is our next meeting. We don't have the subject yet, but we need to know. And then October 12th is the meeting after that. And November is the 9th. September and October will be here, 12 o'clock, 12 to noon. November is out at McAllister Park in the Outback Pavilion. It's outdoors. Doesn't cost to get into the park, and I'm not sure what we're going to do. We've got the pavilion pretty much all day, so maybe we can move this back. I don't know. Anyway, but put those dates in your calendar so you know when the meetings are, and y'all can be here.
Do we have a camp out set yet?
Not yet.
Charlotte, what about the August 31st thing up in Kerrville?
Yeah, well, let's announce that as
Okay.
well because, yeah, John, do the announcement on the Kerrville EOC.
So we have registered for the Kerrville Preparedness Expo. The date is September 31st.
It's September. I thought it was August.
September 31st.
August.
August.
August 31st.
Yeah, August 31st,
Perfect.
from 9 to 4.
Actually, yeah, we have Steve here.
Yeah.
He runs
I'm
Hill
the
Country
organizer of the.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I got property out in Harper. We need, so are you in Kerrville area or what?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I live in Kerrville, but we service, the Hill Country Preppers service, the entire Central Texas.
Nice. All right, so, thank you, Jade.
I just wanted to make everybody aware we are volunteers, so we see paid. We're here on our own time because we want to help everybody. We're not all experts in everything, but we learn, we teach ourselves, we go
About
to
that one.
other classes and things just like you guys are here to share our knowledge with you guys. So thank you for being here.
17.
That's
No, do that announcement, yeah.
So also on August 17th, the Austin group is doing a presentation at the North Shore of the Bastrop Park by the lake. And they're talking about first aid kits and IFAC ideas. So that's open to people too, and that's on the 17th. Right.
What are they presenting?
First aid kits and IFAC. And that's going to start at noon. And basically, you can get in for free. You just have to tell the ranger that you're a part of the group, and they'll let you in.
Group, what is the district?
13.
It's 13. So you got to say, I'm with District 13, and they will let you in.
That's an EMT who's going to be presenting.
No, so it's going to be good information, right? That's what we want to share. Keep our community, our family informed, and we've really had a good time with this deal. So
And
welcome again. Does anybody else have any comments?
well, also for you, the tech class, the Zoom one, starts on September 5th and will run through October 17th. There are 7 sessions, and it's being sponsored by the National Electronics Museum. And I have an email address that you can email for more information. Okay, so find me afterwards, and I can get you the information.
Okay. All right. It's going to be a little bit different this meeting because normally we do a presentation and then we do questions and answers. Here, what I would like to do is just I'm going to introduce Jeffrey again here, and we're going to talk about manually programming your radio to start. Then what we want to do is we got a couple of computers here. We use, depending on the radio you have. If you got a Baofeng, you're going to be able to use the program software called Chirp. Who's aware of Chirp? Right. So it's in Chirp. You can pick your radio. There's a lot of different radio selections. If you do not have your radio, and there's Baofengs that are not in Chirp, like this one, you're going to need a separate software. Software is, for the most part, free. In this radio, it's not free. You got to buy it, right? But the majority of stuff on the internet is free, and so that's the good thing. When you're selecting a radio, think of your CPS. Think of how am I going to program it, and what does it come with it, or could I download it for free or whatever. That's a good checkpoint before you actually buy the radio. But at the end of the day, they all work the same, right? So there's a frequency we have to put in there. There is what we call a PL code if it's repeater, if it's hitting a repeater. We've got to give it access, and so many things have to be correct on your radio to receive on the other radio. So for instance, if I send on one frequency, but it's transmitting on another frequency, I got to have my radio in sync with that. I'm getting the message, I'm hearing it, but I send it, it goes to a different frequency, and then they're getting it. Those are the kind of things that the radio, we're not going to try and make it complicated. It's really, we just got to have this talking to the other radio or to the repeater, which talks to the radio. Everybody know what a repeater is, right? We're going to send it up, and it's going to push it further. But it's doing the same thing as a radio, it's just a remote station. Jeffrey is going to now open up with talking about how to program a radio, I guess. Let's start with that.
Well, it's been on things, the frequency, the tone. Well, let's start more basic than that. If I want to talk to Gerry directly and not go through a repeater, tones don't matter, but you can actually program the tones that you can actually have them there to squelch, to basically not listen to someone else in particular, or if you only want to hear from him, you can put the tone for him. Well, repeaters use that same technology to figure out who to allow
Can
in.
you stand up because I can't hear in the back. Sorry. Yep. I've got the loud voice, right? I'll echo him, right?
Right. So there are these tones that are basically below what you can hear, but they're actually broadcast the entire time you're on. You need to know. Well, you'll need to know the tone. If you're doing a repeater, you need to know how you separate the transmit and receive frequencies.
So this is what he's done, right? He's give you a frequency. He's give you tone information. He's give you radio information on here. This is where this is powerful. But we have to know what we want to do and what the other person's doing.
Right. Right. So if you want to talk to a repeater, you have to know how to connect to the repeater. The reason why they do tones is we have a repeater. Let's just say we have a repeater in this room right here, and then someone has a repeater on the same frequency 2 miles away. How do you pick which repeater to go to? They have different tones to allow you to gain access to that repeater, so you're not activating both at the same time. So we do this for interference purposes. On the amateur side, there's a repeater on 146.94 here in San Antonio, and there's one up in Austin. Anyone here in San Antonio can also activate the Austin one for most of the radios. So they have different tones to keep your communications local. So that's why you have to know the tone. If you have the radio and if you're noticing no one can hear you, it's probably because you have the wrong tone for whatever type of repeater that you're trying to connect to.
So in summary, we're not worried about the tones we're not trying to send a message of what that is. You have to know what you're trying to. So you have to research what is it I'm trying to communicate to. Who is it? Once you have that, that's the information you want, right? If you're looking for a repeater, you're told that it's an Austin repeater. You go to Google, you go to your phones, and you Google in repeaterbook.com. And you look in Austin, or you can go to the state of Texas, or you can look all over the U.S. You can find the repeaters that are listed on repeaterbook.com, and they keep them updated, right?
Right, and they will also give you the ham repeaters, which if you don't have a license, you're not allowed to use unless it's a time of emergency. But they will also list all the GMRS repeaters in that area. So if you're driving to Houston, you can actually go on GMRS, pick I-10, and pick the roadway, and it'll give you all the repeaters that service that roadway on GMRS, for instance.
You program it before your trip. You're just moving down that road, and you're just listening to the repeaters. So, yeah.
And like I said, you'll need to know the frequency. You'll need to know the offset if it's a repeater.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're trying to transmit, you can't transmit on the same repeater. It sends back out because at that point you have interference. So on GMRS, it's a 5 megahertz offset.
Yeah.
Same thing with.
We won't get into the details.
But you'll need to know the offset direction.
But the offset will be in repeaterbook.com.
Right.
So that's what. So we want to give you the where to look. You have to look for the information, and when you look, you can get it from this page. You can go to repeaterbook.com. You can go to mygmrs.com, which is just GMRS. It tells you frequency, offset, PL tone. It tells you that, and you'll just see these 3 numbers. You go, okay, now I understand. This is the PL tone. But when you go to your radio, you go, where do I put that PL tone? Right? That's where we start to get
that, and that's the hard part because every radio is different.
Exactly.
On how you do that. Most Baofengs are similar, and they've actually gotten a whole lot easier on how to do it.
Yeah.
But that's why generally I would say it's easier to go take your computer, run chirp, and put the information in via chirp. And that way you don't have to worry about.
Sit in the lazy boy and just, you get this spreadsheet, you can start entering stuff in.
Like
Then you upload, first we download, it's always a habit, is as soon as you connect, you download what's on your radio and save it, right? That is your, it's working, right? And now you start a new file, or you can upload, make changes and upload it as a different file. We're gonna teach you that, but we're gonna get into the programming side after the first. So who needs help with learning how to program their radio that they brought? Okay, so there's a lot of us, okay.
Right.
You want to try and just, like I see UV5 there, right?
Do you have a docking station that has HDMI with you?
I didn't bring it. You need to save it, all right? You guys got to grab your books, do the Google. Every radio saves differently, but get it into your memory. Once you get it in your memory and in your memory of your radio, you now have a plan, right? You've got, this is what I'm always going to listen to. This is my backup frequency. This is my repeaters. It's great, right? But you got to keep everything in your head, because the radio is not telling you all this. It's just giving you channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. Well, what is that, right? You're going to have to mess around. A great program is called Chirp. Chirp. Free download. You get it downloaded. Here's one of the biggest challenges with your radio may require a special chip in that USB cable. It looks like it's a normal cable, but it needs this special chip. So you go online and you say, here's my model, here's my radio, I want a USB cable for this radio. And then you pay $12 and they ship it to you on Amazon. You now have that radio. Cheaper Chinese cables chips don't always work. So we all experience that, right? We're preppers. We gotta adapt and get another one. One of the biggest challenges we find, even with myself, or being experienced, is like, man, I got this, but I cannot get it to communicate with my radio, and everything's plugged in like it should be. It's probably your cable. So get another cable. So I can't stress that enough. Once you get this thing downloaded, here's the advantage: is you can look at this on your Lazy Boy, and you can see, and you can name all the frequencies. This is my emergency 1, this is my emergency 2, this is for Joe, this is for whatever. I got it. Now I can just go down here and I can just say emergency 1, emergency 2, I know what it is. But I set it up in my chirp, and I name it, I save it, I put it in a backup, I put it on USB storage. I keep that, and that's my backup. So everybody gets that, right? And that's what we're going to spend some time with here on Chirp programming, and it's very easy once you connect. Once your radio is talking to your computer, it's like a spreadsheet, and if you know how to do spreadsheets, it's like, I don't like these, I want them in order, I want this. You can play with it all day long. And it's just, you just save it as a new file.
Most of the people you get now, if you go on Amazon, that don't work.
No,
it's
I just saw the frequency. All I did is put
assigned
the spread.
I'm telling you, don't
I just thought
underestimate
that
the
that's what you
cable.
wanted to give me. I just put the.
I don't know how many times I fought for hours trying to get it to work, and everything is supposed to be working, and it turns out that it's the damn cable. So,
It was just with frequencies. Okay, I might use
with
the
that
same.
being said, we're gonna work on putting the chirp on there. There's a great thing in chirp. You say, I want all the marine channels, I want all the GMRS channels, I want all this. They have a menu where you don't have to go and enter anything. You say, I want to download all my GMRS channels. Boom, it gives them all. You upload it to the software, you save it, then you upload it to the video, and it's in your radio.
Is it true?
It's that quick, it's that easy.
The same one you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we download the Chirp
Yes.
program on our computer at home,
At home.
and then we go through, pick out the frequencies
You have to download first.
You download it, you get the chirp up and running.
up
Okay.
and running, okay?
And then now you want to actually download it.
Download the different
Well,
frequencies.
what happens is you have to connect the radio, and you have to download your stock config. So, To do that, grab a cable. Most Baofengs will look like this. They'll have two prongs. Basically, they match your speaker and your microphone on the side of the radio. Plug it in, like so. Have the other input into your laptop, and then turn on the radio.
Okay. See that?
Oh, okay.
Software on, software uploaded. It's there. It's sitting there. So have it come on here.
So then I'm going to go up to the start menu at the top and say
Okay, hold on.
download
So
radio.
everybody got that, right? The software is running. This is what it looks like with nothing.
Download it and you get started running.
Yep.
Okay.
So he wants to, what did we always say? When we connect the radio to it, we're always going to upload what's on the radio, so we're not changing anything that we changed in the field. We've now pulled that out of the radio, it's in the software, and now we're gonna save it. Because we got a base, because we've already been talking, we've already changed our radio. As soon as I download something new, I've just lost whatever's in the radio. Okay? So it's very important to always remember that backup is I'm going to upload or download the stuff from the radio into the software, and then I'm going to see all of what it is, and I'm going to decide what do I like, what I don't like, whatever, I can make those changes.
So you then hit this download radio option. You had to go here, pick the port.
This
So
is
mine-
important. This is
mine
where you'll struggle.
It came up as COM4, custom, you don't have to do anything with that. Pick the vendor of your radio, and there's a whole lot of vendors on here.
Yep.
And then pick your model. It actually, for me, picked the model for me. It can tell. And then you just hit OK. Then it gives you some instructions saying turn off the radio, connect the interface cable, turn on, do the audio, download your data.
Can you back up to the screen before this one?
Yep. Cancel.
Right, that one, yeah, hold on.
John is recording the thing.
Yeah, can you cancel it?
Well, she wants the screen.
Oh, this screen. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's
Okay.
one. So how did he get to that?
To download the radio.
I was asking her.
There was,
Radio,
radio, okay,
download from radio,
okay.
you get this box.
And since I plugged in the cable after, and turned it on afterwards, I don't have to follow the instructions, but follow the instructions because most radios are different. Some of them say
Yeah.
you have to hold down a certain button to get to downloads.
It's gonna tell you.
It'll
It's
tell
smart.
you what to do. So then just hit OK, now it's reading from the radio.
Whatever is on his radio is gonna show up on our next screen.
Takes a second.
Pictures?
There it is.
That's what's on my radio.
Okay.
So you can tell right now it's actually programmed for a lot of weird frequencies.
All right, so what is this? Let's just go through this. This is the frequencies. This is the name. I wanna call this Joe 1, emergency 2. I get to name that. Okay? This is the squelch, the tone mode, right? This is where, is it, we've seen TCDC, right? We've seen DTC or DTS. If that repeater says I use the DTS 770, you're going to go to that, and it's going to become that. It's going to be one of these, or it's going to be a cross, or so they can change it all different ways. You need to learn.
On this one, you want to program tone, and this is a DTCS. T-squelch will not even let it play back if it's not getting that tone back. And most repeaters don't send back the tone. So if you have tone squelch, you won't hear anything. So send the tone whenever your program.
Yeah.
Or DTCS, because there are, if you look at this guy, there's some that have like a D411 or a D205. Those are the DTCS ones.
The DTCS or the C will be the other one, right? Yes, ma'am.
So dumb question, when we're on our computer and you're saying put in the name, I'm gonna click on that, hit the name, and it's gonna be in my radio?
No,
No?
we'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. So
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
going to tell you guys what each of these columns are,
Okay.
right? Because we're just talking about the software. Now we're going to have that 100, right? When we talked about the 100 tone level,
Yes.
we're going to enter whatever that frequency is, and we're going to put that number in there for the tone and the tone switch. It's actually going to go here, the tone, 100,
You can put it in both, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you can put it both. The DTC, this is talking about, well, I'm talking about D, it's not gonna be, it's gonna be empty, and then you're gonna enter it in here. Because this is for the DTCS. So if it's nothing here, that means it's programmed probably on a repeater or something else, which is the tone.
Okay.
The receive, same thing. The polarity,
I have no idea what that is.
yeah, I'm not
I've never
sure.
done
We
that.
don't use it. The cross mode,
We don't use that either.
you're not gonna worry about that. It's gonna be an FM mode because that's what our GMRS is, right? It's using FM.
Well, this cross mode is the change between DT, CSS, and CSS.
Yeah, so
So we don't
cross
do
mode
that.
is, it might receive on CTC, but it might transmit on DTS, okay? This is the cross mode.
And where did you find the tone to change it to 67? How did you come up with that?
It's on.
Remember, we're gonna research.
Oh, on that one. That's
We're
what
gonna
you
research.
research. Okay.
You know, I don't even want you to refer to, I want you to research
Okay.
before you know, right? So where do you research? You've gotta go to the repeaterbook.com or whatever. Having those resources, having them in front of you, great, but if you lose them, where do you go? Okay, so you have to know what you wanna program before you start working on it. Then you get into the offset, positive, negative.
GMRS is always positive. Ham depends on what band you're on.
Yeah, it varies.
And where on the band you're on.
But they can make a GMRS negative, right?
No.
Oh, it goes on a, it goes on a,
Okay, negative.
okay.
And then offset is the amount of the offset. So if I look over here,
So we're not touching the radio. The radio's connected, but nothing we do is not gonna affect your radio. It's still the same way.
I wasn't sure crashing.
It's a free software. It can crash, right? What are you gonna do? Call and say, hey, you know,
Yeah, when you get the guy.
I paid too much money for this.
In English is.
I want a refund.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
And when you get to some of the ham radios, there's actually another company that makes a program like shirt that actually it has a whole lot more features, but it costs $29 or $30.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
so I'm gonna go set input, so this one is plus,
Positive.
and this actually, it will ask for the offsetting. Since this is GMRS, it's 5.
Okay, so can you just go back to that? Megahertz, right? You may get a radio or a program that says something different than megahertz. Then it's 5,000 if it's hertz, right? So read what it says. If it's looking for megahertz, put 5. But if it's looking for hertz, you need to put 5,000. And there's different softwares that will catch you off because you'll go like, man, this is not working, right?
Then you have mode, which for,
Yeah.
actually, everything we should be doing is NFM,
NFM, yeah.
narrow band FM.
Narrow band. So,
Skip is, if you you can set up groups of scan channels, so go through the scans, and skip means it'll skip that one and scan it. You would do that like if you program in your weather service bands, is you don't want to stop on every weather service channel
yeah.
when you're doing a quick scan.
That's the scan feature. You'll want to, say you want to scan like 5 channels that you have in there. You just skip everything else, and it will only look at the ones that aren't skipped.
And then power is high power, low power.
So you got to know that there's, if it's channel 1, 2, or 3, they are low power, and you cannot transmit on high power because it is shared with FRS. FRS and GMRS share those channels. So you'll see that some radios won't even let you go to high. They'll block you out, you know, but knowing what that high is, it doesn't mean you're going to be the highest. Sometimes high is not good. There's a turbo, you know, we've got all these different ones on different radios. But just know that try standard, have it high, and except for those 3, 1, 2, 3, whatever. Comments, you get to put a comment in there.
You don't see it on the radio.
You don't see it on the radio, it's just for, hey, this is my private code or whatever, my private
So
station.
what I'm doing here is I'm programming in Allen Northeast.
Okay.
This is on this sheet that y'all have. It's 46255 Allen Northeast with a tone of 100.
Okay, so let them tell you what I'm all about teaching mode, right? I don't want you to enter, I want you to block those out, and take those off of there. Tell them what this repeater needs to be up there. We want to make sure you guys understand that. So the frequency is going to be what?
462 550.
550, okay. 462.
Name.
All right, now what are we gonna call it?
So I can't put that much in here because I don't think radio lets you have more than 8 characters. So I'm abbreviating.
Okay. What is the tone? 100. It wasn't 88, right? So it's 100.
So it's tone.
100.
Tone squelch.
Do we need a tone squelch?
Tone.
No, right?
PCS.
Do we need any of those? No, because we got the 100 tone. That's what we're looking for. Cross mode, no. Duplex.
Positive.
And you can give them an option. You can hit the button and it will show the difference. So do we want a positive offset or a negative offset? Do we want we want a positive, right? And what is it? What's the megahertz required? What is that positive? 5, the positive. We've just programmed that frequency. One more.
NFM.
It's FM, yeah. Oh,
NFM.
you're gonna go
NFM.
narrow. You're gonna go narrow FM.
Right.
It will still work on FM, but
Okay, so we have one thing programmed.
okay.
I'm just gonna go now. Upload the radio.
Okay, so why don't we save it first? Teach them to save it. So I want to save this to my computer because I've saved the other one. First of all, we didn't teach you that, is when I open up mine, I upload, I go to save, and I save it to today's date, whatever. I don't care if I got 30 of them in there. I want to know what was in my radio because I don't know what I did differently. I save it, I know I can always go back to it, right? Now, I've got a new program, I've deleted everything, I've got a new one. Now I'm going to go to File, Save As, and save it as a new file. And I'm going to put that wherever I want to keep that. I've got it now. Well, now I'm still connected to the USB. My radio's still connected. It's a real easy thing now. Is I just want to now send it from the computer to my radio, and it's going to wipe out whatever was on your radio, right? And again, if you have it saved, you can go back and figure it out. So now I do that. I upload it to the radio. It's going to check. It's going to tell you to check that again.
And then now I can go, this time you have to actually go do it. You have to turn off and then turn back on.
Okay, so I have a stupid question. If you saved what you had before you downloaded this new thing,
Yep.
can't you just do a copy paste and bring over what was on the old spreadsheet?
Well, you
But
can.
we're getting to that here in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not a stupid question, right? Some software won't let you copy paste, and you have to enter, but most of them will allow, right? So one of the things that I want to say on that is I always use my radio that I've got. I've uploaded it. It's like everything is the way I want it, but maybe there's some kind of change that I want to do it on the computer. I'll upload it and I'll change that. I won't delete. I'll keep all that and I'll just add more channels or whatever. So I'm always building upon my own deal, right?
Okay.
Jerry, how do you know your offset without looking it up on the repeater book?
Because there's only 2 offsets. There's a 5 and a 0.6. Those are the only 2 offsets you'll ever have.
Yes.
Okay.
So ham radio is always 0.6 megahertz, not 600 hertz.
5 offsets.
Huh? Oh, on ham?
Yes. All UHF 70 centimeters is 5.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Sorry. On UHF, on VHF, it's 600 hertz, 0.6 megahertz.
Okay.
So, on the radio now, if I go to the radio here, I upload it. On my channel, on my top, I have Alamo Northeast now listed.
It's the title.
This is WTRD 621 testing. Over. 2. And it works.
Romeo Oscar Zulu 287, Roger.
So,
Somebody outside picked up the repeater and they're going, hey buddy, you're in, right? You're good.
coming back for your hand test.
So, guys, please don't transmit on, if you don't tell you get your GMRS, go get your GMRS license. Let's play, we can hear you throughout the whole city. We'll be listening, you'll learn. You've learned how to do it in the field, you've learned how to put it on here to the stage of you've actually put that repeater in it gets really easy once you start doing it. The problem is the frustrating parts. Not me.
Not me.
So it could be somebody from outside. So we've got it to this part now, but I wanna upload now.
Well, so let's do the thing about adding in, let's add in the weather
Oh,
channels.
good.
So, in Chirp has pre-configured automatically under stock configurations, different stock things that you can add in. So the last one down here is NOAA weather alerts. So you can pick that, and it will load in all the NOAA channels. So with this, someone asked about copy and pasting, you can actually go in here, copy, go back to where you have it, output channel, starting at channel 10, paste. Now I just put all the weather channels in here,
Okay.
and they're already pre-done.
In the software, it hasn't uploaded it.
Right.
Well, let's add some more stuff.
If I want to go in here, let's go say I want to go to, well, let's go FRS, GMRS. So these are all the FRS and GMRS channels. Now, the repeaters down here are set up, but they don't have tones. So you would have to go, you can modify their tones based on what you have, but, so I'm gonna go here,
Just like
copy,
a spreadsheet, right?
go back to mine, and I'll start at 20, paste. So now I have all the GMRS and the FRS frequencies in there. So I can now go or save. I can go reconnect back to the radio. Do not transmit. Do not press the transmit button if you have this thing plugged into the radio.
Well, now-
Bad things can happen to the computer.
Oh.
So I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to go back to the radio, upload the radio, turn it back on. It's uploading now.
Nice.
Just took all those channels, right? You didn't have to. So one of the things, the important thing is we programmed the GMRS repeater, right? We did this
Right.
here. Those tones are not in here, so it's not gonna communicate with that repeater. But it does have a section in there for repeaters. All you gotta do is go to that channel now and add that repeater PL tone. You're in. It's already got the offset, everything's there.
Now when I go to the radio, I have no more piece. Oh, we go back to the platform. Oh, let's not go that way. And it's actually showing me the name on here. So this is WX4PA2, WX5PA3, WX6PA5, 7, 8, 9.
Yes, ma'am.
This probably sounds foolish, but where do you find like emergency channels? There should be emergency
That
channels,
is,
right?
these are where you
That's, you can go to the menu of the different, so these are channels of GMRS, these are weather station.
Yes.
These are all the different channels that are pre-programmed, you get all the information except for repeaters. You don't have to PL to them, you can select the Marines channel, right, the VHF. Will it be our emergency channel? No. Where you get that is we communicate, we say, this is our PrepperNet,
You can go here to this
emergency
website.
one.
Radio reference will say all the different frequencies for every different location. So you can get the frequencies for like for the sheriff's department or fire department,
Yeah.
whatever is unencrypted and not on the
This
truck.
is research. You're gonna dive in, you're gonna start looking for what do you want on your radio, right? How many frequencies can you store? Some have 999 frequencies. Well, that's great. What are the ones you really want, right? And that's where I keep, how I organize mine is I keep mine up in the top where this is my go-to. And if I want all this other stuff, I can get to it because it's in my radio, but I'm not ever going, this is where I'm always staying. So it's a preference. If you've got a group, a mag group, or you've got a group that, the PrepperNet group, or there's Amron, there's different groups. If we decide, okay, let's monitor this, then you would have that as, we'll program this on this software. We can program when you turn on the radio, that program comes up first. That's the frequency, when you turn it on, that's the one that comes up. Right? Yes, ma'am.
Do I understand that you only need to set the tone if you want it to be a repeater?
No,
No?
if it's because the repeaters are asking for the tone and they've
That's-
specified that, but
okay.
you and I can say, we want a tone together so that everybody else can't hear us. They have to know what that tone is.
Okay.
Well, it's not that they can't hear you, because if they don't have a tone set, they can hear you, but, so if you're expecting, if you only want to hear from him, so if you set the tone splits on yours to a certain number, only him broadcasting that would break the splits on your radio, so you wouldn't hear anything else.
You won't hear, yeah, we'll be able to communicate.
So for this National Weather Service thing, we're not setting the tone because we're not trying to
You can't
communicate.
transmit on that frequency.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can, where is it on here that we can you double click on one of those frequencies?
Which one?
I don't know, just
Well,
double
I
click.
know, but what?
Will it open up the, it won't, right? So my other software will open up a whole menu and I don't, okay. So there's a spot where you can, on your radio, where you say, I don't want to transmit on this, I just want it to be listened to. So you would say, do not transmit, right? And we program it, so every time you go to that frequency, it does not transmit. Usually did by accident.
So another feature that this has, I didn't actually know that they had anymore, was under radio, query source.
Oh, repeater book, there it's on there.
So you can just say, I want the amateur service, I want Texas. I'll just do mine because I know mine.
Cheater.
This is going to be centered on my house. I want all repeaters within 100 miles. Let's make it 50 miles. Filter, you can be filter. I don't know how to filter on here. Only certain bands. This radio can only be
2 meter and 70
and 1.5. And I'm not doing digital, so just hit this. Hit OK. And then
Wow.
here's a list of all the repeaters. So I now can go take this.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's a great upgrade.
So I think trying to tell them about meter bands, can you do the math for that real quick so most people can understand?
Yeah, Jeffrey, you want to describe on the, why is 70 centimeters versus 2 meter?
I'm trying to remember the formula exactly, but if you remember back when you took physics, there was a formula that was the frequency versus a wavelength. It was like 760 or some number divided by another number. So
I studied it to take the test, and that's the
Just real simple.
Well,
If
so
you
for
take,
like a 2 meter band, the 2 meter band is 144 to 148.
so if you take the number 300,
Is
okay, 300. Well, that'll
and
explain.
take the number 300,
Right,
divide it by the frequency, and that gives you the meter band.
right. The
So,
wavelength of the frequency.
Basically, 300 divided by 145 is the 2 meter band.
So everything in a radio is saying the antenna height, right? Is going to pick up that wavelength. If I change my antenna length, it's going to pick up a different frequency, right? That's why antennas have to match the radio, and it's quite, you know. And I studied it to get the test, and I passed. And then it's like, okay, I just need to know how to turn on the radio, right?
So you
A lot
can't
of
just.
antennas are, most antennas are called what you call quarter wavelength. So for 70 centimeters,
Well,
it'd be a
yes,
quarter
so this
of
is
whatever
tuned
70 centimeters is.
to
But
the
we go on
frequencies
HF,
that this radio can
like
transmit and receive
we're on
on.
a 40
So this is VHF.
So our antennas have to be 10 meters long. So that's 10 meters long is
So, The
30 feet.
frequency spectrum, high
So,
frequency starts at
it-
3
it-
megahertz,
That's
goes
why
to 30
when you get the short
megahertz.
wave, your antennas
So
are
CB
huge.
We're doing
radio
an 80 meter. My
29
antenna's 110 feet.
From 30 to 300 is
So it goes
VHF,
across your
very high
backyard,
frequency.
right?
Now,
We use
notice
the very
though,
top
when I
end
copied
of
over,
very
it
high
didn't
frequency
copy
for
over
this
everything.
radio.
Why?
Because some of
The low
things,
end of
like the
VHF
third
is from
line,
300 to 3
102 here,
gigahertz. So we're using this radio over here, that's why it's called dual band, because we're doing a little bit of VHF and a little bit of
it didn't copy
VHF.
over the end.
So if you look here, you got 400,
We use a
right?
digital
So
mode
that's over the
that
300, that's in the
these
UHF.
radios will not be able to use. That's why you didn't copy them over. Because if you tune into that frequency and hear someone talk, you're not going to hear someone talk. You'll hear what sounds like an old-fashioned building. But so you can do this to bring in the amateur ones. I think here to do
GMRS again.
GMRS, audio 100.
Yep, and then we should see the one that he just programmed for this
So
repeater,
if
which
you
is
take
the
our
north
rule
album.
of 300
No.
divided by the frequency,
He removed
so
all
that
the
300
recordings
divided by 147 is the 2
because that's what the FCC is looking for now.
So your
Yeah,
best,
so we
your
want to tell you
best
about this, is,
antenna
and I've already
is
explained it a
gonna be
couple
2
times.
meters
Here's
long,
repeaters that are in
which
the
is
repeater
basically
book.
6 feet, or you go in.
So FCC is going after
divides it so
GMRS
so halfway.
repeaters
one
that
and
are
three.
linked. So a linked repeater is the Alamo Northeast is linked to the Alamo Southeast and Northwest. And so when you when you key up on your mic, it goes to this one and it links and everybody can hear it. Right? That's called a linked system. They say in the FCC is that's illegal in the words, and they're going through the courts. They're trying to figure out, you know, because it's all about the verbiage, right? You can't link, and
You can't link over telephony. So you can't, if they can link somehow that does not involve the phone service or another wireless means.
yeah, then it's okay. So they're going after these owners because we're all owners of a repeater. We own the repeater. We put it up and everybody can use it. They're personal owned. They're not. There's nobody getting paid. So if you link it, they're going back to them and going, you can't link it, here's a fine, right, or whatever. There is a thing about where they don't want it to be taking over the ham. I think it's a commercial, it's a money deal for the FCC, right? You know, it has something to do with ham radio is allowed to link, but GMRS isn't. And they're thinking that who needs to be ham licensed now if there's this link system. That's the way I understand it. And so we have a really good team here that put up these linked repeaters. And they're at, what are they, 800? How high are they? They're high, right? They're commercial repeaters, right? And they're on towers around. Well, that's why we've got a great repeater system in San Antonio, so we should take advantage of it.
Okay, in Sheriff, there's also one other mode thing we have when you're on your radio. So here, I'm on the program for the radio. I have memories and I have settings. So settings will allow you to go configure in the computer all the different settings options on the radio. You might find, and then also you can set your default frequency when you turn it on, what your default frequencies are, and then you don't worry about it. Don't touch this one. Some of your radios will have a thing for scan, where you can build different scan groups. It all is radio dependent. You'll have different options here to add different things that you may want to do to your radio. It's like you can set a scan for all GMRS repeaters, a scan for all your local repeaters, a scan for simplex. On the amateur one, there's a good frequency, 146.52. That's the one that people talk that does not use a repeater, but people talk on the highway. It's a
national emergency or
it's the calling frequency.
calling frequency. It's everybody, you know, you just have it on, you start driving, you'll be able to pick up people that
And I
can
was-
simplex.
I list all those pretty much here on the back side of the sheet, the different calling frequencies. Because there's even one that's meant to be used if you're bugging out.
So, I hope guys that, is there any question? We've got 6 minutes to 2 o'clock. We have to be out of here by 2 o'clock?
No, there's no one coming in at 2, so we can stay long.
Okay, all right. Does anybody have any questions on the chirp programming? Yes, sir.
So you mentioned earlier about those repeaters that didn't have the tones, and then you mentioned manually putting them in, that you do it on the app.
And yeah, so let's go to your memory code and go down to one of those repeaters or one of the repeater channels. So there's no tone in here, right? But now we do know that it's a tone and it's 100. So all you have to do on here is go ahead and fix it by going and finding tone mode, right? Now it's set because remember the offset it's already uploaded, so you don't have to worry about that. If it was a DMC or DTC, you would put that V54, whatever it is that we know what it is, but he just did that. So you go and upload that on the radio, you go to that repeater that you know you've done, repeater 575, it's gonna be on that repeater that you just programmed. And you can change the name to Alamo or whatever you want. That's how easy.
If you miss it, there, you just go to the transfer.
Yeah, you upload it, you disconnect, and you're in the field, it's not working, you go, what's my PO? Oh, shit, it has to be 100. You just change it right in the field. Yes,
This is just a safety thing that a wiseman once told me, don't squelch your radio without an antenna because you get radiation burn.
yeah.
I don't know if anybody else knows, I didn't know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only, it's not a high wattage, right? You've got 5 watts maybe, you may have 7, you probably have 3 or what.
Just don't do it.
Yeah, it's not good for the radio.
There's something else if you're traveling and,
You
here
sent
or
me a
here,
favor.
when you don't
Send me a
know
favor,
who or what it is.
No.
A lot of the radios have a function on there that will scan
Okay, well,
that
if you do for a while,
tone
we'll still do it.
and will think with illness.
It's already looking.
Radio antenna.
Maybe you think that
All
might
right,
have been
questions? I hope this helped. I hope you guys, go get your GMRS license. I hope we hear you on the radio. If there's no more questions,